Welcome back, friends. LostScarf here, and it's time for more Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. And here we go. Court is now in session for, how do I say that? Machitobia, Your Honor. The pixie of the Arpeggio. Arpeggio. Right, his trial. Court is in session. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is A-OK, Herr Judge. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin. My opening statement, yeah? No, actually, there was something else I wanted to ask you about. Huh? Yes? They are going to visit someone in the hospital with an incurable disease. What do you say to them? Eh? I mean, you wouldn't say get well soon, right? You'd only be kicking them when they're down. What are you talking about? Actually, I'm going to visit someone who is terminally ill. Right after this trial, the Chief Justice's son. The Chief Justice? His son is afflicted with a most terrible disease. He doesn't have long, it seems. So I thought I'd go pay him a visit. I thought saying something moving might be the order of the day. Why don't grown-ups ever just say what's on their mind instead of pretending? He's looking at me with something like disgust. Hey! What are you looking at me like that for? In any case, I'm a bit busy today, so let's wrap this up quickly. Prosecutor Gavin, the opening statement, briefly. You're in luck, Herr Judge. I believe you'll be going on your hospital visit sooner than you think. Huh? First to review the victim in this crime. Romaine Lettuce, age 35. The global manager for Diva Songstress, Lemire. The cause of death? Blood loss due to being shot by a large caliber revolver. This report has all the details. The court accepts this into evidence. Let us autopsy report added to the court record. 45 caliber. That's quite large, isn't it? How's that boy gonna use it? A direct hit from that could knock a man off of his feet. However, the bullet struck him in his shoulder. The damage to the body was slight. Death was not immediate. Sadly, his blood loss was such that he could not be saved. I suppose the victim's condition could have been much worse, considering. Crime photo added to the court record. Those two shots were fired. One shot missed, the other penetrated and passed through the victim's shoulder. Both bullets were found in the wall at the scene. Observe the diagram. Alright. This is where the bullets hit. I see. The court accepts this evidence. Diagram added to the court record. If we're talking about a 45 caliber revolver, we must assume that the killer was adept at the weapon's use. Really? Yeah, apparently weapons that size have a powerful kickback. They say the judge tried to fire one, it'd break every bone in his body. The defense will take more care in choosing examples. As I was saying, the victim was shot backstage in a dressing room. This dressing room has only one entrance, this door. That does seem to be the case, yes. However, there were witnesses who heard the gunshots. He's talking about you and Emma, huh? Yet when the witnesses entered the room, it was empty, save for the victim's body, of course. But that's impossible. Exactly, this murder was impossible. For all but one person. One person? That is, of course, the defendant, Machitobie. Only this defendant could have committed the crime. But how? It's quite simple. The circumstances of the crime scene make it clear. Very well. I assume you have testimony to back up this claim. Let the witness take the stand. Is it gonna be her? No, it's Emma. Alright. Your name and profession, please. Emma Sky. I'm a detective for the police department. I was on security detail at the concert forum that night. Emma seems tired somehow. Security at the concert, you say? Some security I was. Couldn't even stop a murder. Now, don't blame yourself. Things like this happen. I've made even bigger mistakes in my career, you know. I'm sure that makes her feel much better. I want to hear about these bigger mistakes. In any case, because you were on security detail, the crime was quickly discovered. And we were able to identify the killer. You may give the court your testimony if you would. Describe the circumstances of that day and your discovery of the crime, please. Alright. Murderous circumstances. There should be no mistakes in this testimony. The night of the murder, I was on security backstage at Prosecutor Gavin's request. Only people involved with the concert in some way were allowed backstage. At the beginning of the third set, I heard shots. I went into the room, filled with blaring rock music, and found the body. I examined the scene and determined that only the defendant could have done it. Really? Pressure on that, of course. It was lucky that a detective was the first on the scene. But that door was the only way out of the room, right? Yeah, pretty much. But I don't get it. How can they say that Machi did it? Looks like we need a bit more information. Very well, the defense may begin the cross-examination. Murderous circumstances. The night of the... press... The night of the murder was the night of the concert, yes? That's right. What was a detective doing on security detail, might I ask? If it was only a concert. My thoughts exactly. But orders are orders, even when they come from rock gods. Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, allow me to explain. I smelled something that day, you might say. That's the stench of conspiracy. That day at the concert hall. Conspiracy? Well, isn't it obvious? My keys! That whole morning, the whole day was ruined. And it's all because someone stole my keys. I couldn't ride my hog to the show. I couldn't open my guitar case. There he goes again. Isn't it possible we simply misplaced them? Misplaced them? Misplaced items don't just wander to murder victims' hand on their own. What's this? Prosecutor Gavin, if your keys were in the victim's hand, that makes you a prime suspect. But he was playing, so he couldn't have done it. Love, slow acting, and new. Atokunin is waiting for you. He's singing something? He's singing something. Does everything with this guy have to be so over the top? The killing happened in the middle of my concert. I was, like a sailor, adrift on the sea of sound. Anyway, I didn't want anything else stolen. So I put the detective with the most time on their hands on the task. I see. I could accept that. Well, I can't. What do you mean, time on their hands? Please, the testimony. We were let in, though. I didn't know about that. I certainly didn't invite you. I gave the Fraulein special permission to be there. I wanted to see her again. Oh boy, did you hear that? We're officially involved now. You are 13. Or, no, you're 12. 15 in this. He's 24. We're all going to jail. We're all complicit. Gee, great. Some other hanger-ons tried to get backstage, but I drove them off. But no other outsiders were there then. And then, at the beginning of the third set, I heard shots. I believe we were having a chat when we heard the shots. You were the one chatting. I was eating snackoos. Hey! No snacking in court! And you're sure the shots came from Lembio's room? Yes, absolutely. Hey, I'm the one being cross-examined here. Here, this'll keep you quiet. Ka-tunk. Ah, thanks. Munch. How about it, Munch, Emma? We were right, Munch. There. Hard to be mistaken about that, Munch. Please, either talk or eat. Not both at the same time. Gulp. Right, so after that, me and Mr. Lawyer there opened the dressing room door.
Rock? Blaring, yes.
When you say rock, are you referring perhaps to this rock and roll music that's so popular these days?
Oh my god. That's right, when we went into the dressing room, music was blaring over the speaker on the wall. They pipe sound from the stage into the backstage through speakers. That way people in the back can hear when they're supposed to be on stage. Did it have to be so loud?
You don't listen to Gavin is with your ears. You feel it with your entire body and soul. I always had the backstage monitors at full volume.
We walked in the room. Why are the glasses on? The band was playing Guilty Love, I believe, making it easy to determine the time of the crime.
If you could hear that music playing.
Then everyone on stage for that song has an alibi, including myself. Anyway, I closed out the scene and started my investigation. Glasses, back off! What the hell? Why is the scouter there, Kaiser? How could you know something like that? As I said, it was clear that from the circumstances. Listen, we know there was only one exit from the room, that door. The small window only opened a tiny crack, and I was standing in front of that door. So how could the killer have fled the scene? There's only one possibility. The air vent. Oh, there's a ladder there. Never thought of that.
Oh!
But that air vent was too small. Who could possibly... Exactly. Oh! There's certainly no way you could get through, nor me. The only one who could fit through was a child. A child! Remember, access to those rooms was limited. Only those involved with the concert were allowed.
And of all the people involved with the concert, only one is small enough to be considered a child. The defendant. The pixie of the arpeggio floated up toward the sky and disappeared from the scene of the crime.
But that's just conjecture!
Oh? There was no other way out of the room. You were there, you should know, air forehead.
And there's another vital piece of evidence?
Evidence? What?
Marks were found on the air vent and grill. Traces that it had recently been opened.
Wait, what?
And something else was found, quite clearly. The defendant, Machitobia's fingerprints.
What?
Oh, this kid's dead. He's dead.
Order! 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 That air vent was the only way out of the room. The defendant's fingerprints were found on the grill. Well, air forehead? What fairy tale does this suggest to you? Only one could pass through that vent, that doorway to heaven. And that one is our pixie.
Why are you looking at me, Apollo? Hey, I was out whooping it up in the audience. So this was his decisive evidence.
Quite decisive indeed. I believe that's enough of that.
Huh?
Prosecution has a rather convincing case. The only way in or out of the crime scene was watched. Making the defendant the only one who could possibly leave the scene. Simple and decisive. I believe we've heard enough to determine our verdict. Even if I wasn't in a hurry to make a hospital visit. I'm sure the Chief Justice will appreciate the gesture. Unfortunately, we have no direct witnesses. Fortunately, the criminal left decisive evidence for us. That will have to be enough.
It can't be over already.
Very well, I believe this trial is over. The defense has no contradicting evidence. The prosecution has presented a proof, clear and plain. If you have contradicting evidence, it better be clear and plain.
Look, Apollo! They've got us on the ropes already. We'd better come up with something quick.
I know!
Think, what can get us out of this? We need evidence. Well, we need evidence or a witness that can prove Machi is innocent beyond a doubt. Without that...
Mr. Justice, you have contradicting proof that can overturn the prosecution's case. If you do, you'd better tell us about it now.
This is it, and so soon. If I mess this up, it's all over. The court wants contradicting proof. Comes in. Let's see if we got evidence. I think we have a witness. We'll see if we have evidence. The defense is prepared to show contradicting evidence. This should be interesting. What sort of evidence?
Yes, what sort of evidence, Mr. Justice? Show us evidence contradicting the prosecution's aims.
Go with that. This evidence does more than contradict. It flips the whole case on its head. Thank you for presenting evidence that is both clear and plain, as requested.
Yes, clearly and plainly wrong. I'm afraid the only thing flipped on its head here was you as a child, Mr. Justice.
Guess that wasn't it. My claim is clear. The only person who could have fled the scene was the defendant.
And there were no witnesses either.
Yet the defense's options are limited, Mr. Justice. Okay, there's only way out of this. Evidence or a witness? Go for the witness this time. We have to try Lamior. Lamior was my guess. Prosecutor Gavin, you claim that there were no witnesses to this crime. Are you absolutely sure? Absolutely. I'd swear it on my career as a prosecutor. And on my million-seller hit song, Atraquinine, My Love. There he goes again. That's too bad, because there was a witness.
Ho-ho, really now? But how did you come to possess knowledge? The prosecution clearly does not.
Because I am the only one in the world who knows this. Well, what's going on? I just talked to him and now... He's alive! Mr. Lettuce, are you okay? Can you hear me?
Cold. So cold. Witness.
You're cold. Don't worry. You're going to be fine. Help is on the way.
Can't see.
Hang in there, Mr. Lettuce. Tell me who was the witness?
The witness is Siren. Bleh. What? The victim said this before he died?
Perhaps he did, and perhaps he did not. What do you mean by that? All we know is that her forehead says he just said. There's no testimony, especially since it comes from the defense attorney himself. But it's the truth, he said it. I even told you about it. But apparently he ignored me completely. It's my policy to fully investigate everything I deem relevant. Clearly this rookie lawyer thinks he can tell me how to do my job.
That's enough. Mr. Justice, we need clear contradictory proof from you. This witness of yours unknown to the prosecution. I hope you're right. Failure carries a stiff penalty.
Perhaps a stiffer penalty than usually is called for. No backing out now.
Let's hear the name of your witness, Mr. Justice.
Phoenix Wright. Linear.
Lamior.
Recall Mr. Lettuce's last words.
The witness is Siren.
There.
The Siren. Ah, you meant the Siren.
That's right, the Siren of the ballad, Lamior. Lamior was only on stage for the second set. And she had access to the backstage area. She could have been a witness.
I see. Well, Prosecutor Gavin.
My claim still stands. There's no witness to this crime.
Very well. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth then, shall we? We'll now take a break from Detective Emma Sky's cross-examination. Please show Lamior to the witness stand.
Lamior would say nothing to deny the murder. Not today, though. Today we'll drag that story out of her, no matter what it is. Lamior. It is my distinct honor to welcome the Siren of the ballad to our courtroom. You are too kind.
Ah, you can speak English.
Yes, I can. Though I am not very good. There is much I do not know.
You speak so well. Have you spent time here before?
Actually, I do not know how I came to my knowledge of your language. Nor where I studied it. What does she mean? She doesn't know. I do thought to call her as a witness, but I did not. I had a reason, of course. What's that? Lamio suffers from amnesia.
What? Amnesia?
Lamio is not my true name. Yet I remember nothing of the time before I was given it. Nothing of the time before I started singing on stage. Oh, she's even more mysterious than I thought. As lauded singer Lamio, she lives a good life. There are little difficulties for her, though, thanks to her success. Yet, I did not wish to subject her to unnecessary stress.
I see. I care surprisingly little about people's pasts. You have nothing to fear this court, Lamio.
Thank you. Yet there is something I do not understand. I'm being called as a witness. What might I say? No one will tell me anything of what happened. Lamio, let me be frank. I did not want to ask you to appear to testify. Yet that young gentleman with the wide forehead over there was adamant that you stand. Oh my. Congratulations, Apollo. You're the bad guy.
Well, now that you're here, please give us your testimony. If nothing else, the sound of your voice is welcome. Tell us what you saw the night of the crime.
I saw nothing. Bye. What I saw? As for what I saw nothing. Got it! Damn! Oh, damn! Alright, end the episode. Holy crap, I got that perfectly. I don't even know how. That night, I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. I did not return backstage after the second set. And I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room, and told to wait there. That was where I learned that something had happened, but I wasn't told the details. I need water.
I must say, you sound wonderful just testifying.
I hope he was too distracted to hear what she actually was saying. There you have it. She saw nothing that night. Now we can only pray that Defense has the sense to admit defeat, and refrain from detaining her here longer than need be. Wow, you just got better, Apollo. Way to go.
Very well, Mr. Justice. Keep it short and sweet.
Lamio wouldn't talk to me the night of the crime. He must know something, and I've got to find out what. Time to press her. Press her as hard as we can. Here we go. For this. But you must have seen something. Mr. Lettuce named you. Mr. Lettuce? Mr. Lettuce? How can I tell you what I don't know? Lamio, he said you were a witness with his dying words. I do not know what he meant to say, but that night... It was a great concert. You heard me sing? Thank you. I was hoping to get an autograph later, actually. Of course.
Mr. Justice, this is a cross-examination. You're out of line. If anyone deserves an autograph here, it's me. One on my gavel would be nice.
Hey, Judge. Hey, Judge.
What's this?
It's my autograph. Now keep this trial moving.
What? Oh, my grandchild would be so happy.
Apparently his grandson is a big fan. Let us continue, shall we, if you would, Lamio? Tell us what you did after your stellar performance. Where did she go? You did not return backstage once? Where were you then? What were you doing? I was cleaning up on stage. There are many things I must do for a performance, other than simply sing. What was Machi with you? And was Machi with you at the time? Unfortunately, I do not know where he was. So much for an alibi for Machi. This is not going well. With Machi, correct? How was he then? He seemed as he always does. Though I believe he was shocked by the news of Mr. Lettuce's death. Yet, he is not the type to show much emotion. Yes, he's given the police no end of headaches. He answers most questions with silence, and those glinting frames speak nothing. The questioning hasn't gotten very far. He sat there, waiting. How was the incident explained to you? I was told nothing in detail, only that Mr. Lettuce died.
Of course, investigations require some security.
But Mr. Lettuce was my manager. I wanted to know more. I should have been told. Both Monty and I were beside ourselves with concern.
Allow me to apologize, but please understand. Leaving you in the dark was as painful for me as it was for you.
Yes, I understand. Think! What doesn't ring true about her testimony? It's hard to imagine Lamior lying. She might not be lying, but she's hiding something. What wouldn't she tell me the night of the murder? Oh yeah, her brooch. Okay, so where do we use that? That's where we use it, I think. Check it first. Anything to see on this thing? Sort of fasten pin, safety pin. It's not a safety pin. Is it a danger pin? Oh god! I already did that joke. Okay. Present this. There it is. I'm sorry, Lamior, but I'm having trouble believing you. You remember this brooch, don't you? You're not.
But this Lamior's. She was wearing it for her son.
Care to add that to the testimony, Prosecutor Gavin?
What?
This brooch was found after the murder took place. At the very scene of the crime.
What?
Lamior? How did your brooch get backstage if you did not go there yourself? And as Prosecutor Gavin has just told us, you had been wearing it during your performance that night. Ah! Really?
What is the meaning of this, Lamior? Please explain.
Lamior?
She says English is quite difficult.
The trick's not going to work here.
Your forehead may be large, but you are a lawyer, truly. But you have missed one important fact.
What now?
In fact, at the time of the incident, I went backstage, but only for a moment.
What?
Think back to the moment of the crime. You know whereof I speak.
You really saying all that? What's she talking about, Apollo? Right when the incident occurred. Ah! Is she talking about that? Watch this room for me? Add the call for backup? Right, understood. You want me to make sure no one comes in, right? Mr. Lettuce, can you hear me?
Cold. So cold. Witness.
You're cold. Don't worry, you're going to be fine. Help us on the way.
The witness is... Siren.
Siren? How can a siren witness something? Anything? Yipes, Emma? What was that? But who's there? What's wrong? Emma, did you see anyone just now? Huh? No? I could have sworn I heard the door close. I looked into the room. Just a glance, mind you.
So this was when your brooch dropped? That explains that.
It does. There was no other time I could have dropped in. But that's ridiculous! You only looked in for an instant, but you dropped your brooch?
Her forehead. He has raised the possibility. The only thing that can counter that is evidence. So she looked in at the crime scene.
Actually, I intended to go into the dressing room. I knew nothing of what happened, of course. At the moment I opened the door, I heard a horrible voice.
Her forehead shouting, "Who's there?" No doubt. A horrible voice indeed.
I closed the door immediately. It's her dressing room, what does she care?
Well, that explains the brooch. Let's return to your testimony.
That's too convenient. She's hiding something. Lamior, you did look into the room, though, right? Yes? Testify as to what you saw. Very well, though it was only the briefest of glimpses. Ah, okay. My performance is finished. I went backstage for just a moment. What did you see in that brief glimpse? I had only opened the door slightly when I heard the horrible voice.
And you shut the door?
I've always wondered, Herr Forehead. Does that voice of yours lack a volume knob? It's my cord to steal, man. Just back up. I saw nothing. The late Mr. Lettuce's body was behind a wall. How do you know that? A wall? Was there a wall there? Is what in English? A division, or partition, I believe. It was a large dressing room divided into two halves. And the murder took place on the inside half. I guess that partition might have hidden the body. But the way she worded that... He's all right. Yeah, it's possible, but it's also possible she saw it. Let's go ahead and present this, but I might be wrong. Still safe. No, not enough. Okay, so let's try this then.
The eye.
She's mumbling it out. She's not speaking openly, she's mumbling it out. There it is. Okay, it's her mouth. Her mouth is just real tight in the middle part. So let's go ahead and do that again. There. Confirm. Gotcha, bitch! Yeah, late with Mr. Lettuce's body. The late Mr. Lettuce's body, you say? Yes. You know something more about Mr. Lettuce's death than you are saying. What? I could see you trying not to remember. But the effort made you swallow. You can't fool my eyes. Huh? It is true. It was so terrible after all. Why did Mr. Lettuce have to be shot? One moment, Lamier. Yes? What was that you just said? Why did Mr. Lettuce have to be shot? Yes. He was hiding something, I knew it! Lamier, I'm afraid you haven't realized it, but... your words just now contradict your testimony. Huh? How could that be? Take this! She doesn't know he got shot. Lamier contradicted her own testimony. I have the evidence to prove it, and that is... the diagram of the shots? Let's see here. If I do not misunderstand the meaning of contradiction, it is you who contradict, Mr. Justice. Huh? Evidence is meaningless. Ah! Wrong evidence! Gotta think this over. What did she say again? Okay, there we go. She doesn't know he got shot. Okay, so... okay, put the gun then. She doesn't know he got shot. All she knows is he's dead. But... all this because she shouldn't have known about the gunshots. There, son of a... there you go. Tell me, Lamier, how did you know he had been shot? Huh? Well, immediately following the incident, a gag order was placed on the scene. This is the document proving that. In your testimony, you told the court, no one told me anything about the incident. Ah. Furthermore, you testified that you had seen nothing. Yet you knew that Mr. Lettuce had been shot. How could you have known? Yoke. Yorick. Yoke. I don't know. Got her.
Lamier! You aren't hiding something from this court, I hope.
That sweet song of hers was sounding a little too sweet. Now I remember. Please, allow me to add to my testimony. Of course. All we want to know is the truth. Looks kind of pale, huh? She saw something, I know it. Even the victim said so. I saw bullet holes in the wall, and knew Mr. Lettuce had been shot. Only a glimpse, yet you knew they were bullet holes? Yes, I recognized them immediately. I have seen bullet holes before, you know. You have traveled the world as a singer. You must have sung in places far more dangerous than our country. I go wherever my voice is needed. Those places are many these days. That's really cool. I hope I get to travel like Lamiar someday. I plan on recording my next album overseas. The studios have a different sound, you know. Maybe I should go on a Chords of Steel tour too. Alright, what do we got to contradict this? There it is, the door. Yeah, she can't see it because of the door. Also, who has their door like that? I'd have it like this, obviously, so you can see out like this. Having it like this, what the hell? Objection! More contradictions. Lamior, they call you the siren of the ballad. But lies are hardly becoming of such a creature.
A put-down worthy of our prosecutor, Mr. Justice.
Such put-downs are hardly becoming of you, Apollo. Stop polishing your forehead and start polishing your character, huh? Come on, can't I be cool for once? Observe the diagram. Lamior, you looked in from the door for just a moment. Correct? Yes, that is so. There were bullet holes in the room, yes? They were in the wall the door is on. Huh? You see? Assuming you were merely glancing into the room. You could have seen those bullet holes. Yoke.
Lamior.
Yes?
I'm afraid the defense has raised a good point. It appears you have been holding back something.
I must tell you? I must tell you what it is that I saw?
Yes. The happenings in this trial are being recorded. I'm certain it will be the news in Begonia. You understand reputation is at stake. It falls to you to avoid tarnishing it.
Personally speaking, I still believe that cross-examining her will yield us absolutely nothing. But she knew how Mr. Lettuce died, and he named her as a witness. You must have seen something, Lamior.
Very well. Lamior, please continue your testimony.
Very well, I shall. New round, what I saw round 2. Okay, here we go. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it. But it wasn't Machi. It was a grown man. I know it was.
So you did witness the crime. And the killer was a grown person, you say?
Ack, this is my first time hearing this, I assure you. Nice play here, Forehead.
Very well. Mr. Justice, you may begin your cross-examination.
Great going, Apollo. You're right about Lamiar. What's wrong? You don't look too happy. This whole thing smells fishy. That's what's wrong. What window? There's a window? So you were heading toward the dressing room? Yes. So this is a little before she opened the dressing room door and dropped her brooch. About the same time Emma and I heard those shots. I was on my way back. What exactly is something like a little window? Yes, well, window is the best word I know in English. I think this is how it is said, yes? You need not worry, Lamior. Your choice of words is impeccable. There's a small window in the dressing room in question. As the defense remembers this detail. That little window on the wall? I saw the crime from there. Did you not open the little window? There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it. You are certain you heard 2 shots fired? Yes, quite certain. I was on my way to the backstage exit. This was when I heard a faint sound, like a gunshot. Wondering what it had been, I peered through the window. That is when I heard the second gunshot, much closer. And there were 2 bullet holes at the scene. No contradiction there, so far. It all happened on the other side of the window. There was nothing I could do. It wasn't Maji who shot, are you sure? Yes, quite certain. It amuses me that you would question her testimony. It is testimony in your favor. Isn't it my job to object? Yeah, Apollo, what were you thinking? Mercy, let's just listen to what Lamir has to say. Can you tell me how you were so sure? Yes, of course. You see, there's a grown person. A grown person? That's a little vague. I'm sorry. My skill with your language is lacking, I know.
Certainly you could at least see whether the shooter was male or female.
It was a man, a young man.
And you're sure of this?
Yes, his voice was quite clear. Voice?
Look at this diagram, it seems the dressing room was quite cluttered. It does seem likely that you wouldn't have had a clear view of the shooter.
As a singer, I rely more on my ears than my eyes. When I heard a voice, I do not forget it. That voice was the voice of a man.
I heard a voice?
But wait.
Couldn't that have been the victim, Mr. Letus?
Absolutely not. Did I not just say that I did not forget a voice? If it was Mr. Lettuce who spoke, I would have known.
Indeed. They were at the window and you heard the shooter's voice. The voice of a young man.
Apollo, this is good testimony. That proves it wasn't marching.
Indeed. If this turns out to be true, it would cast this case into a considerably different light. What is the defense's opinion on the testimony?
Let's try it. Though it pains me to say this, there's something about Lamir's testimony that rings false.
Bravo, Airhead. You're colder than I thought.
I'm sure you remember what the problem is as well as I do, Gavin. As has been established, no grown man could have passed through the air vent. He couldn't have fled the scene of the crime. But that means Lamir has to be lying. I know, and I know that's bad for our case, but I can't shut my eyes to this. Believe me, the idea was tempting.
This is what Mr. Herr Forehead says. Yet, this is not the only contradiction within her testimony.
Well, what? Well, what next? What's he talking about?
Lamio, I understand why you would want to protect Machi. Yet remember, you are the siren of the ballad. And lies do not become such a creature. What does the prosecution mean?
Apollo, what's he talking about? How come no one bats an eye when he says stuff like that?
I recall the state of the crime scene quite well.
State of the room?
Yes, and when the murder took place, that window was closed. I find it hard to believe you could hear a voice through it.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. There was a crack, but, what? But I'm sure.
Lamia, I have nothing but the highest regard for your musical sense, but my opinion of you as a witness is somewhat lesser.
But she's the only eyewitness we have.
So you say, and the victim named her the siren as the witness?
That's right. That's what Mr. Lettuce said.
We heard your claim, we even entertained the possibility, and it brought us to this. Herr Judge? Yes. The prosecution requests that the witness be excused. Please. I'm afraid I must honor the prosecution's request. There's indeed a question of the witness's credibility.
But if Lamir can't testify, then we don't have a chance at proving Machi's innocence.
This cross-examination is over. Prosecutor Gavin, you may continue making your case. Danke. Now where were we? Ah yes, I would like to hear from Fräulein Detective again.
What? Wait, let me hear Lamir's testimony one last time.
The cross-examination is already over. Until such a time as need arises, this witness may leave the stand.
I'm sorry, I could not be of more assistance. Alright. At last, back to the real trial. Ready for her forehead? I hope I didn't just mess my only chance. Fraulein Detective, how far had we gotten until we were so rudely interrupted? Don't ask me. I just like saying the same thing twice. And I never repeat the song for an encore.
If you would, Miss Sky.
I believe I was saying that the only way Mr. Lettuce's killer could have escaped was through that air vent on the ceiling.
Ah, yes. There was only one door in the room. And the witness you was standing in front of.
That air vent isn't very big, see? Kinda limits the people who could possibly get through.
I certainly would have a difficult time.
You sure would. Not that you would have been there in the first place, though. Remember, the whole backstage area was off limits to people who not involved with the concert. The only one who meets the conditions of our killer is the defendant.
A virtuoso performance. I could not put it better myself. She does state a clear case. Though reading the report, something caught my eye.
Oh? What's that?
The circumstances of the defendant's arrest.
The circumstances? Again? Hey, that's right, Apollon. Remember when we found Machi? That was bizarre.
Right, what the hell's going on there?
He's right. Why did Mr. Lettuce's body disappear from the room? And end up on top of that stage tower? Holding a guitar, no less.
A perceptive observation there, Judge. Thanks. It was kind of an accident, really. But you work in this job long enough. You get the nose for things.
The judge seems pleased with himself.
Pretty good, Fraulein Detective. Now she can tie it all together for us. Why was the body moved? And how does that lead us to the killer?
The missing body. I believe Machi stole the body because of some lyrics. He moved the body to match Lamir's song. No one in this country had a motive to kill the victim. And Machi practically left his signature at the scene. All this evidence clearly points to the defendant. Alright.
Lamir's song?
Yes, the guitar serenade. You noticed its code too, did you not?
Its code?
All the events that day followed the lyrics of our song. First, the keys my heart held on to so tightly were stolen. Then Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flames on stage. First Lettuce's life was taken by a bullet. The rest hardly needs explanation. Guitar, guitar, up together to the sky.
That's mad. Like a story out of some fairy tale.
I admit I'd forgotten about the song. But there it is now, waiting for me. The grand finale, as it were. Hey, you know, I was the one who noticed that first.
I've heard of jumping rope to songs and counting the songs. But killing?
It was a wild world out there, Head Judge.
Very well. We've heard one song and dance. Let's get on to the next, the cross-examination.
I'm not so sure I'm going to be doing much singing. The missing body. Who would steal a body just to match some lyrics? I didn't believe it myself, but I can't just be coincidence. But I can't do it.
It was as Fraulein Detective says. Let's just begin with the first verse, if you would, Fraulein Detective.
What? You want me to sing it?
You are the witness, yeah? What did you want me to sing? I warned you, my fee as vocalist is not trivial.
Fine, fine. Ahem. Let's look at the first part of the lyric, shall we? Oh my god, I have her sing. When you stole away the keys my heart held on to so tight.
Indeed, my favorite heart-shaped key ring was stolen that morning.
Next, we go to the right page of the lyric sheet, where we find burning on in my heart, fire, burn my love away, fall away. As we know, Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flame. Like a bullet of love, fire take my life away, all away. Mr. Lettuce's life was taken by a bullet.
Bravo, Fraulein Detective. Your singing, it's not bad. Now for the finale.
Guitar, up together to the sky.
As it says in the lyrics, Mr. Lettuce was found with a guitar, high in the sky over the stage. No series of coincidences could be so what's conceived.
He's right, scientifically speaking.
What would Waki have said? Their concert was whack.
Who's Waki Kataki? Who's Waki Kataki again? Oh, the Kataki family.
Their concert was whack.
Eels, honey. It's hard to argue when she pours her heart into it like that. I am. Anyway, the shooter.
Does the prosecution have any idea why he'd do all this?
You want my scientific opinion? No clue. But he clearly had a reason to go through all that trouble. Some deep reason.
A deep reason? Not only did he steal my keys, he torched my guitar. And forgive relax even if he had a reason, and worse, if he had none.
The Diva's complaints aside, I can't imagine someone doing this on just a whim.
Fraulein Detective, I take offense at that description. Indeed, it does seem too well rehearsed, shall we say.
Yes, this crime was planned for sure. And when his country had a motive to kill the victim?
But Mr. Lettuce spoke English. He may have come to this country before.
I looked into that, I assure you. Oh. It was his first time in the country, it seems. Apparently he learned English on his own.
Great. You see? No one here had a motive to kill him, and certainly not in such an elaborate fashion. It does seem difficult to imagine.
Unless our famous prosecutor did it as a publicity stunt.
What did you say? Prosecutor Gavin, you did this to promote your song? Of course not. I am quite dismayed by the ludicrous nature of her claim. Why would I need promotion? Everyone already listens to my music.
They're even in my textbook at school.
And I'd never heard of them. What does that say about me?
I was just kidding. Don't get all worked up, Glimmer Boy.
What's his signature about? What do you mean by his signature?
The bullet holes in the wall, of course.
The bullet holes?
The revolver was fired twice. One shot missed and left a hole in the wall.
And that means what exactly?
The dressing room isn't exactly spacious. Picture the shooter facing off with the victim in there. They can't have been more than 5 feet apart. It would be difficult, almost impossible to miss at that range.
Difficult to miss, you say?
Very. Assuming the shooter could properly aim.
No, you can't be serious.
Machi, you can't see. That's why he missed? The only explanation that makes sense.
Unless the dude dodged.
He used sound and other senses to fire the gun. Poorly.
It reminds me, the monitor in that room was blaring at the time, yeah? Hardly ideal conditions for tracking by sound. A blind shooter. No wonder he missed. I knew those bullet holes would come back to haunt me. Thank Justice, what do I do now? There's an objection? Sure, there were bullet holes that left in the wall. But that doesn't prove the shooter couldn't see. Oh, how so? Well, there could have been a struggle with the victim. That's certainly possible. And it might have been the revolver's fault. Revolver? The revolver was a very large caliber, correct? If the shooter wasn't used to firing such a large weapon, why, it could dislocate the shoulder. Exactly. The defendant, Machitobie, is, as you can see, tiny. Not so hard to picture him firing that gun and missing entirely. The kickback alone would throw off his aim.
Wait.
A convincing argument, to be sure.
Aha! Take that, smug prosecution. Apollo? Huh? What? That bit about Machi being tiny. And the gun throwing off his aim? Aren't you kind of, admitting that he did it? Yeah, that's the thing I'm trying to figure out. Oh. It does not matter why he missed. What matters is that the shooter was, without a doubt, the defendant. The defense seems to agree on that point. Yeah, you dumbass. Perhaps I really put my foot in it this time. But let's get the facts of the matter on the record. If you would, Fraulein Detective.
Very well, the witness will add this to her testimony.
Right? From the state of the crime scene, I conclude the shooter was blind. You can't say he was blind just because of those bullet holes in the wall. I think I've proven that. I wouldn't call it proof, per se. Huh? You've merely raised a possibility. Fraulein Detective has made a most logical conjecture based upon the evidence. Of course, there's more evidence than just bullet holes. The defendant was the only one who could have escaped through the air vent. But wait, if he was blind, how would he know about the air vent in the first place? Ah, a very good point. Well, Fraulein Detective, if you would care to explain. He certainly seems sure of himself. Recall the crime scene, if you would. The fingerprints. There's a stepladder below the air vent. As it happens, maintenance was scheduled for that day. Custodial staff went through checking out the air vents. I don't believe it. Everyone backstage was told about the maintenance, including Machi Tobaye. He would have known that there would be a way out at the top of the stepladder. But he has no English, but why is this the first time I'm hearing about this? You could have figured it out by yourself. You only need to consider that the stepladder was doing there. He has no English.
Looks like the defense's objection has been squashed by a stepladder.
Well, here for it. Out of ammunition, perhaps? I've never seen Prosecutor Gavin so aggressive. Maybe he's caught the scent of blood. Apollo, don't you have something? Anything? You know what we need? We need something to prove the killer could see. That'll put him in his place. Huh? Proving the shooter was sighted would do it. That would take down one of their central points. Do I have any evidence that proves that though? I got just the thing. Fine, I accept the prosecution's challenge. As I knew you would have, Forehead. What exactly am I up against here? The prosecution is saying the shooter missed because he or she couldn't see. Machi, who's blind, did it.
Defense will please present their evidence. Evidence that overturns the prosecution's claim that the shooter couldn't see.
I don't think I have anything, so I think we're in a bad spot. This is that evidence!
The photograph of the crime scene!
I don't care much for the smirk on Prosecutor Gavin's face, but this is no time to think twice. Time to press on! Yes, Your Honor, the crime scene. There is something in here that decisively contradicts the prosecution's point. Then perhaps you'd best show us this something? Get your finger out of the breeze and put it into good use, yeah?
Very well. Show us what you're talking about, Mr. Justice. The contradiction at the scene of the crime.
That. They wouldn't notice to move that, to get rid of that. The contradiction is right here. The smeared bloodstains?
I thought it was just my blurry vision. But it really was blurry. The way the victim's hand was raised above his head. Much like a gesture I have seen many times in this court.
It's almost as if he wrote something? I get it. At least I think I get it. Get what, Fraulein? When Mr. Lettuce was shot, he tried to write something. And what would he write but the shooter's name? And what would he write it in but his own blood? Pretty good, huh? Thanks for making my point for me. Yes, in fact, that's what I think's happened here.
That does seem to be a distinct possibility.
The victim wrote the killer's name? It's certainly a logical conclusion. Right, I just wish it wasn't all rubbed out like that.
Of course it's rubbed out. Why, if I were a killer, I certainly wouldn't want to leave my own name behind.
Neither would I. They're getting it right there. No one has anything else to say?
About what?
So the prosecution accepts this? You agree this was the victim making an attempt to record the name of the killer? And that the killer tried to rub the name out? What's your point? What's my point? Let me ask you this. How did the killer know the victim was writing their name? Well, Mr. Lettuce was writing something in blood, as the killer saw what it was. Wait.
Once he saw what it was.
But what did you just testify about the shooter? I said they were blind. Ah! There it is. Got it. Yet the crime scene itself contradicts that. The killer had to have been able to see. Why would they rub it out? Why would they rub out the name in blood otherwise? May I remind the court that the defendant, Mr. Machi Toby, is blind? He couldn't have been the shooter. Impossible?
Well, order. Prosecutor Gavin, please explain to me what all this means. I mean, looking at this photo, it seems quite clear that the shooter could see. Yet up until now...
It seems I owe the court an apology. The Gaviners are a band with law enforcement ties, yet the murder occurred during our concert. Apparently this caused some confusion over jurisdiction. As a result, some reports were not filed in an entirely timely manner. I'm not sure I like the vibe I'm getting here. Hey, Apollo, look at him. Why is supposed to be Gavin all relaxed and smiling like that? Like he knows something we don't. And he's about to tell us. I've got an idea. Let's rock. With these documents, but before that, I have a question for the Fraulein detective. If I may? What? Tell me, why do you think that Machitobi is blind? Huh? What did you say? What are you saying? Of course he's blind. Of course. He's blind pianist, right? So he's... Doesn't Lemire lead him around by the hand all the time? No way. I have a report here on the defendant, Machitobi. According to this, Machitobi can see perfectly well. What? It's an act. His blindness is merely a publicity ploy by those clever Magonians. He can see quite well. Balls! But you said... What did I say exactly? Therefore, not once in the course of this trial have I claimed the defendant was blind. The other one who did this was Fraulein detective. But that's a significant fact, yes, considering Machitobi sees. And he was the only one who could have fled through the event. I see no problems with this. But what about the bullet holes in the wall? Yes, the bullet holes. I believe their forehead neatly explained those for us. He didn't miss because he couldn't see. It was the kickback from the .45 caliber revolver. Ah, balls, okay. A simple accident, in other words. Ah! How's that? I'm afraid your objection has just flown off for brighter skies. This is where the real fun begins, there, forehead. Yeah! The thing, though, is they can figure out, like, the angle the bullet came in from. If it's low, then fine. If it's center or higher, then not so much. I knew you didn't have what it took. You jerk? Is what was I in here for? Comic relief? Yeah, apologize. So sorry. That's no way to apologize. He's angered the Trucy now. Look out.
If I'm weak and press, please end this bickering now.
Whatever, I'm not leaving. I can't leave like this. I'll come up with some clue to solve this case if it kills me.
But your testimony has already given us enough to convict the defendant.
Don't say that. What? This bloodstain? The criminal tried to wipe it off, right? That seems to be what happened, yes? We might be able to figure out what was written here. Really? You can do that? That's right. With this. It's called luminol. Maybe you know of it? It's a chemical that reacts to blood.
Ah, yes, we have done those tests yet. Have we done those tests yet?
Huh? As if I'm going to tell you?
The bloodstains covered a section of the carpet. In order to perform blood tests, the section was removed and submitted. Perhaps we should request it here in court now.
Right, go for it, Apollo.
Huh? I had to do the test.
You just have to spray the luminol on it? Simple?
A chemical that ranks the blood. I've heard of this somewhere. Yes, I believe an analysis is called for. Have at it.
Why me? Right, ready? It's easy as pie. Just spray your stuff all over it. Just touch the screen to spray on area. Here, give it a try. Alright, the eyes of the entire court are focused on me. Apollo, your hand's shaking.
Yeah, let's do this.
Those are numbers.
Wow, it really works. IPXX314206. What does that mean?
This must be the power of science. It says IPXX314206. Is that the killer's name?
Maybe it is, if the killer was a robot.
Aha, I have it.
So what is it? I thought those letters IPXX looked familiar. This is an Interpol ID number.
Interpol? You mean the International Police Agency?
Yes, most are undercover agents working to solve international crimes. But why would he write that number? Why would Mr. Lettuce even know a number like that? Good show, Fraulein Detective. Rock on.
Yeah?
Your Honor, we can verify this number immediately. Darian, are you there? Come over to the witness stand.
Oh god, we're still going?
Darian, you heard what we need? Go check into this Interpol ID number. Sure thing. Give me 30 minutes. No, 27. I'm not sure what to think of all this. The prosecution's case is airtight, or so it seems. Yet if this number is really that of an Interpol agent.
Oh wait, I know. What if Machitabi is really an undercover Interpol agent?
That would be a possibility. A possibility, yes. And one that would mark him as the killer for certain. Why did Lettuce know an Interpol number?
That's what I want to know.
Well, we have some time while we wait Darian's report. Let's work on unraveling another mystery, shall we? A curious mystery concerning but Machi Tobiye.
What are you talking about?
Fraulein Detective, please accept my apologies. I received word that the defendant could, in fact, see just before the trial began. It seemed too much of a bother to tell you.
You had me until that last bit?
Does this not raise a rather straightforward question?
Well, sure. Why did Machi pretend he couldn't see?
Exactly. It makes little sense. What do you think, Air Forehead?
Huh? Me?
Machi Tobiye pretended he was blind. Do you know why?
How could he know? Wait, Prosecutor Gavin knows why, doesn't he? He's known from the start of the trial. He's been leading us the whole time.
Something wrong? Do you think perhaps this is some kind of game? But at the moment I heard that report, I knew why. I suppose people who have sold over 1 million records really are something else.
What does that have to do with anything?
There's a reason why Machi Tobiye pretended to be blind. But it wasn't for his own sake. Getting the picture now?
It wasn't for himself.
Well, Mr. Justice, can you present evidence that shows us why the defendant had the feigned blindness?
Bah! Show evidence. Machi had no reason to pretend he couldn't see. Which means, no, it couldn't be!
Good show, Air Forehead. It seems you thought of something.
Why can't I figure these things out on my own? I ain't having to take my cues from this guy. Very well, look at this. This is why he was pretending he couldn't see. The lyrics?
What is that supposed to mean? I don't see how it relates to the defendant's vision or lack thereof.
Well, see, it is the wrong piece of evidence.
I do see how your lack of an answer relates to this penalty, however. Therefore, I'm disappointed in you. Unless you're merely feigning stupidity. Yes? Yeah?
Keep it up, wise guy.
Recall the relationship of Lamio and Machi Tobie. In particular, their arrangement over the years before visiting our country.
Lamia and her pianist? They would always walk together, she leading him by the hand. Even when they got on stage, she would lead him to the piano. She would walk all the way over there with him.
That's right, because he was blind, or so we thought. He led him at all times. All times. All times, Yet we now know that Machi could see perfectly well. Why keep up the charade? Well, wasn't it part of their performance? There is a simpler explanation there, Judge. Machi did not need to be led by the hand at all. Which means...
Ah! You don't mean...
I do. It was the other way around. The one who needed to be led by the hand was Lamior. Whoa, what's this? So you mean to say that Lamior is... she's... blind as a bat there, Judge.
What? What kind of twist is that?
Order! 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 This is crazy, Prosecutor Gavin.
Yeah, wasn't she supposed to be the landscape painter in sound or something?
Well, since we have her here, why not ask Lamia herself?
Did anyone lead her to the freaking prosecution thing? Did anyone lead her to the witness stand? No one led her to anything. She had to do it herself, right? So how the hell?
I believe she is still in the witness waiting room.
Apollo, what does this mean for our case?
Don't ask me. I had no idea she couldn't see. I didn't even imagine until now.
Yeah, he's fisting that wall pretty hard.
Bailiff, bring in Lamior.
Okay, we got to cut here. My throat's giving out. My throat's giving... This could be the end of the episode. Like, this part. But my throat's giving out, so we got to stop for now. My throat. I kept going. I should have stopped 17 minutes ago. So, that right there is going to be the game for now. We're going to have to see what this is about next time. But, I have fun. Hope you've been watching. That's what's all about, isn't it? Having fun, come by, and see you next time.